Well, that was painful. Uh, well then. Um, hey Greg. Um, is my connection okay? Let me see. Howdy. How's the... Sorry. The previous stream, I had to... Whenever I try to do the whole stream on YouTube with the, like, let's make a scheduled time for a stream, it always goofs up. And I know it's something that I'm not doing right, but I don't know how to figure it out, so I just had to do another stream. So, yeah, that was painful. Anyway, I'm just going to give it a minute so we can get some more people in here, if other people are going to be coming in anyway. That's me assuming a lot. How is the audio and my mic? You guys hear me okay? Is the music too loud, too low? It... Oh, okay. I was just more or less curious because I don't know if the background music is too loud or too low or anything. But anyway, well, thanks for thanks for joining me. I I never thought that I would actually do a live stream or live readings or stories or anything like that because that was just such a weird concept for me. Like, oh, the connection is okay. All right, thanks, Eldad. Um, it's just such a weird concept because whenever I've seen anyone do any of those Reddit stories or anything like that, it's always been, you know, just reading it and parroting it back. I've never seen anyone go live. So someone suggested, I don't have the name offhand. Someone suggested, I'm like, I guess I could do that. I've heard a lot of people say that they want to hear some stories, some personal stories about different retail experiences or whatever that I have. And I thought, well, I guess I could kind of kill two birds with one stone. So, yeah. um, so, where to begin? I've got a couple of stories I kind of wrote out a little bit earlier today, kind of bullet pointed some points I wanted to touch on. But while we're waiting for the people to come in, I just want to say, hold on, let me pull that up. I made, wait, where, oh, there's my Google Drive. I'm such a bundle of nerves right now because, again, I've never gone live or anything like that before? Oh, raise the music a little bit? Oh, okay. How about that? Too loud, or is that okay? Anyway. So to start off with, I went and saw Detective Pikachu last night with my girlfriend. And whenever I go into a movie theater, not whenever I go into a movie theater, a lot of times when I go into a theater, it's like perfectly fine. You go in, you sit down, you watch a movie, no distractions or anything, but sometimes there's people that talk in the movie, and I am never opposed to telling someone, hey, shh, or be quiet. But last night I was watching Detective Pikachu. And there are these two girls. I mean, it's Detective Pikachu's like a little kid's movie, right? I mean, kids and adults can kind of like it, but it's more designed for kids. So me getting upset over someone talking during a kid's movie, I was like, well, pretty bad, right? But I've been trying to watch my tolerance levels with people, because I do realize that some people just are going to do things that are going to be annoying. But towards the end of the movie, I had to go shh to these two girls that were sitting 3 or 4 seats from us. And as I did that, I looked at them. They both like tensed up, like that they weren't talking, like they didn't think that they were talking loud during the movie or anything like that. See, this is why I edit my stories and why it takes me 2 hours to make each video, because I have to like go back and like cut it back up and be like, wow, that didn't make a lot of sense. Let me redo that. But am I just an angry person? I just thought, man, I know that there's going to be a lot of things that annoy people in life, and people are just going to be people. But there are just some things, I don't know if it's just that I'm hypersensitive to things like that, but every time that I've told someone shh, I'm like, man, I feel like the bad guy. But I'm telling someone to be quiet in a movie theater, right? So that should be the normal thing, right? They're the ones talking. Anyway. Alright, well, probably shouldn't have had an energy drink before this, because now I'm just all jittery. Okay, can start off with a story, I guess. I've got a few different ones, and you guys can decide which one you want to hear. I've got I've got 3 pharmacy stories, and I have a vacation story with me and a couple of friends. So the first pharmacy story is a customer we tried to fire. Another one is a rude drive-through guy. And another one is an elderly couple at the drive-through. And then the trip is about me and a couple of friends doing a road trip right out of high school. So, I love Detective Pikachu. I thought it was a pretty good movie too, but I mean, you could tell where the movie was going. But anyway, let's see. So, let's see. Alright, so I have the 4 stories. Customer we tried to fire. Did this turn into an AITA? I don't know what that is. I'm bad with abbreviations. Well, not abbreviations, but yeah. Well, I feel like I'm crashing and burning right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with... I'll just start them off in order. When you watch How to Train Your Dragon, there's a woman who during the film took pictures of her popcorn 3 times the flash on. Who the hell takes a picture of your popcorn? Like, what? I guess I can understand people like taking photos of their food at restaurants, being like, oh, look at this fancy food, look how delicious it looks. Fine, I get that, but popcorn? Who takes photos of their popcorn? It's like taking photos of your socks. I mean, everyone's socks looks the same, all the popcorn looks the same. I've popped so much popcorn before in like movie theater popcorn or whatever in the microwave, and it's all come out looking the same color and everything, but somehow it tastes different. So taking a photo of popcorn, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, okay, I'll go ahead and Bridget, you said the rude customer. I'll go ahead and just start off with the rude customer then. So, let's see. So glad I wrote these down, because if I didn't, I know I would be like, oh crap, what was that story again? So, okay, rude customer guy. So I was working at a pharmacy. I'm not going to name the pharmacy just because reasons, but it's a drugstore that it's a drugstore. It's not a large grocery store with a pharmacy attached to it. It's just known for being a pharmacy with other things you can buy, kind of like a convenience store. But anyway, so working in that pharmacy, it was just a normal everyday whatever. Around 4 or 5 o'clock that's kind of when we start getting busy, because people get off work. People want to come in and get their medications on the way home from work. So we have this guy come in, and you always know that it's going to be a problem customer. We've never seen the guy before, but he comes in and he says, my other pharmacy never gets my medications right, and so I need you to transfer all of my prescriptions from there to here. Now, in any profession, you're going to have good and bad professionals, but the whole, hey, they always get it wrong, that's never a thing. That's never a right thing, especially in a profession like pharmacy, where you have so many different procedures that you have to do a certain way, and that doesn't really change from pharmacy to pharmacy. People don't just make up their own rules for how they do things. It just goes from point A to point B to point C, whatever, until you get through with the prescriptions. So if he says that another pharmacy always gets your prescriptions wrong, you just know that he's not going to be happy no matter where he goes, because it's not a pharmacy thing, it's a patient thing. So the guy comes in, tells us to transfer all of his prescriptions from one place to another, and we do. I mean, we do that all the time, but just that red flag warning when they tell us, I hate my other pharmacy, blah blah blah. Anyway, so the guy comes in periodically. Usually people come in like once a month for the medications, because they get like a 30-day supply. This guy comes in about once a week, because he has all of his prescriptions are all done at different times, so he ends up coming in at least once a week. Every time he comes in, he comes in through the drive-thru, and he always comes in at around the same time. Comes in around 4 or 5 o'clock when we're busy, because I guess he's coming home from work too. Anyway, so he comes in around that time, and he always comes through the drive-thru. Drive-thru just has the one lane, and so it's a bit of a wait, because there are people in front of him. And if there's a problem with a patient in front of him, I mean, we can't like have him park. Like at fast food places, you can just tell them to park. We'll bring out your food in a minute. We can't do that with prescriptions. But it doesn't matter how long the patient in front of him has been at the window. Most of the time, it wasn't long at all, maybe 2-3 minutes. He would honk his horn. And I'm not just talking about like honk honk. I mean, he would just go burr, burr, and he would do that over and over for like 10 seconds. I'm not kidding. No exaggeration. I'm not like these kind of stories you do not make up. Like that's what happened. So he would get up to the window, agitated, of course. We would be agitated too, because it's like, does that? Who honks in a drive-thru like that? That's incredibly rude. So we get him his prescriptions, and every time that he comes to the window, there's something wrong. The price isn't right. He didn't want that prescription. He wanted a different one, which the only way that we fill medications is if you tell us to fill those medications, so it's not our fault. Anyway, incredibly rude. And this happens over and over, once a week, like clockwork, for like 2 months. And the way pharmacy works, or the way I would assume most retail places work, is that you're supposed to smile and let the customer do basically what they want because they're the ones bringing the money in. And there's like no protecting the employee. There's no making sure that the employee doesn't feel slighted or yelled at or anything like that. There's no protection for us. But it got to the point where, hey, other customers are complaining about this guy because, you know, he's honking at them in the drive-thru and taking up all of our time at the drive-thru, telling us that we're, you know, saying pretty vulgar stuff to us. So one day, he honks. My pharmacy manager goes over to the window and just tells him, hey, you can't come back in anymore. We'll be happy to transfer your prescriptions to another pharmacy, but you're no longer welcome here. Finally, after a couple months of him coming in and berating us and belittling us and honking at other customers and just being all around a nasty person, my pharmacist, who was one of the nicest people ever, never raised his voice or anything, he's sitting there trembling as he's talking to this guy, just telling him, hey, you can't come in here anymore. We sell him his prescriptions because they were ready, but we tell him, hey, you got to go somewhere else. He pulls off, you know, screeches through the parking lot. So a week later, we have a supervisor come in. Now, it wasn't because of this customer. It was a scheduled visit. Like, hey, just coming in to check up on you guys. Here are the numbers, you know, and just kind of go over and talk to the boss, whatever. So she came in, and normal every day. Hey, here are your numbers. We'll want you to try to get more flu shots. Blah blah blah. Oh, and we got a customer complaint about you guys, which isn't uncommon. I mean, everyone gets customer complaints about even the stupidest things. But anyway, hey, we got a customer complaining about you guys, and it's from, and she mentions the guy's name, and we're like, oh, that guy. And each one of us were telling this lady, the supervisor, that, oh, what, cursor's on the screen? Ah, dang it. Anyway, supervisor comes in and says that this guy, man, you made me lose my train of thought. Comes in, and we tell her that this guy is a really nasty guy. We tell her different instances when he's come in and done different things, and she's all listening to this, and she's like, oh wow, that's not good, that's pretty bad. And we're like, yeah. So we told him that he where to go and how to get there, basically. So he says, well, I'm required to follow up with customers when they call a complaint, but since I'm here, I'll just go ahead and do this right now. And we're like, oh, okay, because we were telling her she was a reasonable person, so we thought. And we're telling her all this, and she agrees. She hears all these stories about this guy. Anyway, She gives the guy a call. And we're listening in because we're waiting for her to get the third degree on the phone, too. All we hear on our end from her is, uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh. For like 4 or 5 minutes. She's like, yeah, you know what? That does make sense. We're like, what? The conversation ends. She hangs up. She pulls my manager aside and talks to the manager. And we're like, what's going on? She talks to the manager for a good 5 minutes. And then she ends up wrapping up her session when she's there, you know. Hey, the numbers are great. You guys are doing a great job. See ya. Bye. We go and ask our pharmacy manager, what was that all about? He tells us, well, with the conversation that she had with him, a lot of stuff, this is her talking, him saying what she said. You know, with what that guy was telling me, a lot of stuff did really make any sense. And you know what? A lot of the stress came from him and a lot of things you guys were doing, and he didn't really appreciate it. So we're going to bring his prescriptions back here, and you need to call and apologize to the guy. So this mild-mannered guy, my pharmacy manager, one of the nicest guys I've worked with, we've taken a lot of abuse from this other guy, was told from his boss that basically the guy has permission to sit there and yell at us. She allows the guy to... He has to call this patient, tell him that he apologizes for kicking him out of the pharmacy for being an ass. And then is told that he has to also give him a $40 gift card. So there are a lot of stories like this in retail, just in retail in general. But here, this is going to make me sound pompous, but it is what it is. Being in pharmacy, I mean, we're medical professionals. We're not just... Now, when I say we're not just front-end employees, I'm not trying to make it sound like that, but I'm just saying we had to go through special training. Pharmacists go through 6 years of school and get a doctorate degree. And we're being yelled at by people, but they're rewarded for bad behavior. And there's just something really messed up about that, and it happens all the time in retail, where I actually got fired from that pharmacy because of customer complaints. And how that worked out was, I worked at that pharmacy for, gosh, that one was about 3 years. And I at that store, I was there for 8 years. I worked my way up and got trained to be a tech. But the way that they worked customer complaints is that the complaint will go against you. It would go against you no matter what. It could be an unfounded complaint. It could be a justified complaint. If it was a complaint, there was like a point on your record. If it was, I'm sure, depending on how big of a complaint it was, if it was justified or not, it would that point total will go up depending on how severe it was, but it would still go against you. The night I got fired, it was a busy. We were busy back there in the pharmacy, and there was a guy in line that would be a creeper. He was a creeper. Like, he would come in, and whenever any of the girls back there would help him, he would always like say some sketchy things to him, some perverted things to him, but nothing along the lines of being vulgar, but it just made them all feel uneasy. So I saw this guy in line, and we had a girl up there that was working. When she was helping the customer in front of him, I went up and I helped him over at the next registers. I said, hey, I can help you out over here. He said, I don't want your help. I want her to help me. I'm like, hey, I'm right here. I can help you out right here. There was even people behind him. He's like, I don't want your help. I want her to help me. And I just kind of throw up my arms. I'm like, all right, whatever. And I just walk away. I go in the back and start filling. Um, about a week later, we had someone from the district office come in, and they told me that I was fired. And I'm like, what? What happened? He's like, what? You got another customer complaint. I'm like, what was the complaint? And they told me that the guy called and said, I don't want that guy helping me anymore back there in that pharmacy. And I was trying to tell, and I'm sitting there telling these people that were telling me that I'm fired, like, hey, this guy's a creeper. He comes in all the time and he makes the girls feel uneasy. So I just went up and tried to help him. They said, nope, it was just another complaint. You gotta go. Just like that, got fired for being at that with that company for 8 years, 7, 8 years. I think it was 8 years. But I had complaints about me, and some of them may have been justified. But for that to be the straw that broke the camel's back, you'd have to think about what other complaints I had about me that were also pretty unjustified or mundane. Now, I did have my fair share of times when I may or may not have constructively worded some words to make someone feel like that they were being stupid. But, yeah, I mean, if I got fired for telling someone that they're an idiot, that's one thing. But to have someone fire me for me telling someone I could help them. I was actively trying to help someone and I got fired. That is messed up. And it happens all the time in retail. Well, I mean, not necessarily just retail, like fast food. Like, a lot of places will fire you because, quite frankly, they could hire someone else. I've worked with some of the nicest, wonderful people, smartest people, really smart people, and some of the dumbest people on earth in retail. And they get their job because they basically can hire almost anyone off the street and replace you. So if they get any sort of customer complaints or anything like that, they would rather just fire you and get someone else because they know they can. Well, that was fun. Just kind of went on a rant there. Told a story and then ended up going on a rant. But that was the story of the guy that we fired and had to call and apologize to. This retail, man. I don't get it. Well, I do get it up to a certain point because customers are literally the lifeblood of the company. They're the people that come in and you want to sell stuff to them because they make you money, they make everyone money. But there has to be a point where you got to stand up for your own employees sometime and not just believe everything that a customer says and even reward him for bad behavior. Now that doesn't teach anyone anything. The guy came from another pharmacy because he said they never got it right. He comes into us thinking that we never get it right, but it's him. Yells at us and gets rewarded for it. So it just teaches that guy that it's okay to do this. Let's see. Your area manager... Wait. Angel said, our area manager took over our office with no notice and completely ignored our assistant manager who was in charge for the day and is a lovely person. Didn't even say hi or anything. There's a difference between people that get hired out of school to district level jobs and people that work their way through a company. I would say that the people that work through the company go from, hey, you hear stories like, hey, I started off as a bagger, worked my way up to district manager. You hear those stories, and typically, whenever I've worked with those people, those managers are higher managers, district managers, whatever, they seem to actually get it. You know, they understand because they've actually worked retail. They've been yelled at by people a lot. They know how it is, and they typically treat you a lot better than the people that just go out of school and get hired into a position and has never worked your job, but never even going and saying hi. Just took over, just walked into your into your office and took over, no highs or anything, just do this work. It's kind of like, I think it's kind of like being homeschooled as opposed to going through public school. Like if you go homeschooled, you never have any I can't talk. You never have any interaction with people. Your only interaction is with your parents. Now I know some people do have set up like play dates with other homeschool kids and stuff like that to try to get them some sort of social interaction, but it's not the same as going through school. Excuse me. Like going through, it's the same way as being just hired on just straight out of college, going into a district level job, as opposed to going through the ranks. At least when you go through the ranks, you kind of know how the businesses actually ran at the store level. When you're just hired on, you hit the ground running and you think you know how the business should be ran when you actually haven't ever stocked a shelf before. I don't know. And so, I don't know if this is the right analogy, but to me it just seems like that you don't understand what the people that you're the boss over are actually going through on a daily basis. You don't get it. See, this is why I like I said before, it takes me 2 hours to edit my videos, because sometimes I just start talking. I'm like, maybe I should just go back and cut that out and redo that. So, all right, let's go on to a different story. Let's see. Okay, this one's a little bit shorter, and well, knowing me, I'll probably still rant on this one too. But this one is a little bit shorter. So, elderly couple that came into that same pharmacy. So, the pharmacy that I worked at it has a drive-through. I mentioned that before in the previous story. So, one day we just started seeing this elderly couple come in through the drive-through. They just I don't know where they came from. I'm sure that we transferred the prescriptions when I wasn't working, but they came through the drive-through and you could tell who it was by just seeing it by the you can know you knew who was coming into your drive-through, because out of the corner of your eye you could see the drive-through and you'd see this old lady car. Now you know what car I'm talking about. It's an old lady car. Only old ladies drive that car. 4-door, probably an Oldsmobile or a Cadillac, and you would see it creep up in the drive-through. It would go slow, then hard brake. Slow, hard brake. Slow, hard brake. Like creeping up to the window. Like it was almost like she was pressing the gas and the brake at the same time. Sorry, I'll respond to different comments after the story. Anyway, so she would creep up into the drive-through like she was pressing the gas and the brake at the same time. Like this lady, I can only describe her as thick glasses, very hard of hearing. Now, if you work in pharmacy, you know about HIPAA laws. You can't really say things too loud because other people can hear, and that's private information you're telling other people. Well, this lady, you had to yell at her because she could not hear. So big thick glasses, can't hear, and her teeth look like baked beans. No joke, I'm not trying to be rude. They literally looked like that they were skins of baked beans stuck to her teeth. Like they were just brown and ugh. So her and her husband would come in all the time and pick up medications through the drive-thru, probably once every other week. So They came up through the drive-through. You'd sell medications, and then they would creep off again, like slowly break and go, break and go. We swear every time that she came through, she came like inches away from hitting our building multiple times. So, one day, it's a slow day, really slow day. It must have been like a Saturday or Sunday, like really in the early afternoon. Like there's no one around. And then out of the corner of your eye, you see this slow break, slow break. It's like, oh, we know. Oh, okay, it's that lady. She comes through the drive-through, and she's alone. She always came in with her husband, but she's alone, and we're like, oh, what happened to her husband? So I pick up the receiver. I'm like, hi, how can I help you? She said, hey, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but do you mind getting my medications quickly? My husband had a heart attack, and I was following the ambulance, but then we passed by the pharmacy, and I realized I had some medications I needed to pick up. I'm like, what? You wait, I'm now. Of course, I don't say any of this to her. You know, I'm still totally like, straight-faced. You know, blank. Well, not blank. Well, it must have been a blank expression, because how do you respond to something like that? In my mind, I'm like, you're following an ambulance. Your husband just had a heart attack, but then you decide to pull off, go through a drive-thru at a pharmacy and pick up medications for yourself. There was nothing ready for the husband. It's not like she's like, oh, he had a heart attack. I need to tell the doctor what medications he's on, you know, because, I mean, hospitals call us periodically and say, oh, we got this new patient here. They're not quite sure what they're on. You mind telling us over the phone where they are? And if they identify themselves as a hospital or a doctor's office, we're okay. HIPAA laws, we're okay telling them what it is. But her husband just had a heart attack. She comes in, picks up medications for herself as she's following the ambulance. So yeah, I go and I sell it to her. I'm like, I hope everything's okay. And she go. I wouldn't say speed off, because, you know, slow brake, slow brake, slow brake out of our drive-thru. So, in life, you know, medication's definitely important, but there's some things you have to kind of prioritize, right? You don't want to just say, oh crap, I got to pick up my medication. My husband's fine. He's just in the back of an ambulance. Don't worry about it. Oh man. Anyway, back to the comments. Eldad, my name is Chris. Christopher. My mom. Oh man, I can tell you stories about my name. Jesus. I've always preferred people to call me Chris. My mom has always preferred people to call me Christopher. Yeah. So back in the day, I would have people call my house, friends call my house. Hey, is Chris there? Then mom would. I knew that the phone was for me when she would answer the phone, say hello, and then she'd say, there's no Chris here, but there's a Christopher here. I'm like, oh, mom, what are you doing to me? Then I'd pick up the phone, it's like, oh, hi, Christopher. I'm like, okay, shut up. Yeah, moms are the best, right? Anyway, let's see. Dab Munder, thoughts on homosexuals in retail? I mean, they're just people like any other person, right? Like, what you do at home is your business, not mine. I don't care what you do. So yeah, totally fine in the workplace. I don't see any problem with that. Let's see. Never to leave. Companies expect you to be loyal and give up your time and free will, but fire you on the second thought. It kind of, man, it's entirely true. I've said it before in some other videos that fast food and pharmacy are basically the same thing. They really are basically the same thing, except for you don't have a deep fryer in the pharmacy. And in fast food, if you tell someone, "Oh, sorry, messed up your order," they'll just give you another hamburger or something like that, or refund your money, whatever. In pharmacy, you can't really do that. Like, if you mess up their order, you can't give them, oh, you know what, let me give you some more Viagra. Here you go. You can't really do that. Also, if the people also don't come in and say, hey, can I get a burger and some fries? It's like, oh, okay. Well, your insurance only paid for a small portion of your hamburger, so your total is $400. You don't do that either. All right. Well, thanks for joining, Angel. It's nice to have people in here, but if you need to leave, that's totally cool. But I appreciate you stopping by. Anyway, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, they're basically the same animal. But so in both fast food and pharmacy, if you're sick, you come in and work. Because that phone call you make to that pharmacy or to that fast food place, it's like, oh, you're sick? Can you call a list of these people to see if anyone else wants to come in? And no one ever wants to come in. And they try to pressure you to say, well, you got to come in. It's like, as a kid, I'm like, okay, I got to come in. As an adult, I know that that's BS. I don't have to come in. If I'm sick, I'm sick. I've got sick days. I can use them. But they always try to pressure you into coming into work. What was bad about pharmacy is that sick days, you get sick days, but I would only use maybe one sick day a year when I'm like totally dead on arrival, can't move, can't get out of bed. I will call in sick. But they don't. The company and every pharmacy I've worked at CVS, I've worked at Walgreens, I've worked at Walmart. All of them have had drive-thrus, so don't think that just because they're drive-thru stories, it couldn't possibly be a Walmart story. But I'm not going to name specifically what store or whatever. But each one of those places, they don't have a pool of people to call to have you come in. It's basically like, oh, you're not working? We'll call that one other person and see if they can come in. So you basically can't call in sick. You can, but if someone calls in sick on your shift, it's just like you're doing everything by yourself, and it's just the worst experience. They don't have any sort of like pool of people that they can call, like floaters, people that float from store to store. They don't have anything like that for pharmacy techs. It's just the worst experience. They expect you to be loyal and come in when you're sick. And one of the pharmacies actually had me transfer medications from store to store. They would say, oh, this one store is low on this one medication that they need for a patient, and we need something from them. Take this medication, drive over there, get it, and come back. And I would do that on my own time because I'm a dumbass. I didn't get paid for gas, didn't get paid for anything, just went 20-minute drive, grabbed some medication, drove back for free. And then, it's the same company that fired me because a customer said that he didn't want me to help him, he wanted someone else to help him. And it's not just, you're exactly right, never leave. Companies expect you to be loyal, giving up your free time and for free and fire you without a second thought. 100% true. And Greg was saying I have the best nickname though. Greg knows me in real life. Wow, because this isn't real life right here, right? He knows me personally, and my nickname is Grandma because I act like an elderly woman. There. That's my best nickname. Anyway. This whole telling stories to people that want to hear my stories is an interesting concept for me because I have absolutely no problem telling people stories I want to tell, but I know they don't want to hear them, but I don't care that they don't want to hear them. I just want to tell stories, so it's a weird concept for me to have people engaged in my stories. It's strange. Okay, anyway. Let's see. I can go on to a different story instead of just rambling like I normally do. Let's see. Okay. Gonna go ahead and tell a story of my trip right out of high school. It's oh, cursor. Oh, I know the cursors in the thing. I'm looking at my Google Docs because I have notes pulled up on there. So yeah, the cursor's in the shot. Let's see. All right, so trip right out of high school. I live in Utah. If you're not really familiar with Utah, other than it being known for skiing, Mormons, and I'm sure there's something else. Oh, and the Utah Jazz. There's really five, I would say five cities in Utah, like major, I wouldn't say major cities, not like Chicago or anything like that, but five bigger cities in Utah, and then the rest is just sagebrush. It's just rocks and sagebrush. Big nothing in Utah. You drive, you can drive for, on the freeway, if you go, you can go like 40 miles between towns. Anyway, I tell you that to tell you the rest of the story. So, out of high school, me and my friends decided that we're going to go to southern Utah. I live up in the northern part of Utah. And we're going to drive down to a city called Hurricane. Hurricane is right on one of the corners of Utah. It's about... the biggest city that's close to it is called St. George. And it's about 10 minutes, 15 minutes out of St. George. It's a really, really small town. Like they don't even have like sidewalk, like gutters on the road. They don't have curbs. It's just sidewalk, dirt, and then a road. So it's a really small town. One of my friends' grandpa lives out there, and we decided that we want to go and do some hiking out in the Red Rocks area, like at Zion's National Park. And we thought, hey, you know, we could just stay at your grandpa's and save us some money. And his grandpa was fine with that. So one night we get together and we start making our drive down there. Now, it's about well, at the time before they raised the speed limit, it was about a 4-hour drive. Probably 3-hour drive from here to there. And about halfway down there, we stop at a rest stop. It's probably about 11 o'clock at night. There's really no one else at that rest stop. Just one other car. We go use the restroom. We come out, and there's this lady. She had to be in her mid-40s, mid to late 40s. And she didn't look right. Like, she looked a little nutty. So I come outside of the restroom, and one of my friends is already talking to her, and she's sitting there like looking at the ground and talking about the bugs that are on the ground. Like, oh, there's another one. There's another bug. I don't know if this lady was on drugs, or if she was mentally handicapped or anything like that. Like she had some sort of. It was just kind of weird. So, I brought my camera with me. It was a 35mm camera. And we got together and took a photo because, hey, that's a memory. You know, the crazy bug lady at the rest stop. So we get down to friend's grandpa's house, and it's about midnight. He wakes up. He tells us we can sleep in the living room floor. We have our sleeping bags with us, so that's fine. And he says, "Oh, And by the way, the house that we pull up to, it's a small house. It's really small. It's got, I think the reason why I had to sleep in the living room is because it's basically a 1-bedroom house. So he tells us, go sleep on the floor in there. You know, I wake up early in the morning, so don't be surprised. I'll try not to wake you guys up. Oh, and by the way, don't go into that room over there. And we look over there, and there's a room with a glass window on it, a windowed door, and that was closed. He said, "Yeah, don't go into that room. The spiders have taken over that room." And we're like, "What?" we all kind of look at each other like, the spiders have taken over that room? Like, okay. Yeah, so we get our sleeping bags, we turn on the TV, watch some TV for a little bit, and periodically you would just see out of the corner of your eye just a spider crawling around the ground, just scurrying around. We're like, oh, okay, that's cool. So we sleep in our sleeping bags, and the only way to sleep in your sleeping bag when there's a bunch of spiders around is that you make yourself look like a little cocoon. Like, you just wrap everything around and just hope that, you know, nothing creepy crawly gets you in the middle of the night. Anyway, so we wake up and we're gonna go to Arches National Park, which is about, I don't know, about 45-minute drive from where we were at. If you don't know anything about Arches, it's a beautiful area. It's really got, I think, just one road going into it, and you basically drive through this canyon. It's a really pretty area. Anyway, so we decided that we're going to go do a hike. I don't know anything about the area. I've never been to Arches. Or, I'm saying Arches, aren't I? I meant Zion's National Park, not Arches. Zion's National Park. And we were going to go do some hiking. My friend suggested that we do this hike called Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing, we look at it, and it's like a 3.5-mile hike. We're like, yeah, we can do that. You know, 6 miles round trip, 7 miles round trip. That's good. Now, me being the dumb kid at the time, walking around in long pants and, no, I think I had a t-shirt on, just dying in the heat. It's still earlier in the morning. We got there around 10 o'clock or so, but we're just dying climbing up this thing. It's paved. It's a paved hike. There's a lot of people on it, so, like, we're not in the middle of nowhere. I'm not going to die of, like, heat exhaustion, but we finally get to the top. It took us 3 hours to get up to the top, when normal people probably would have taken 2 hours, but we were just dying getting up there. And we get to the top, and we realize that the trail's not over. There's still a little bit left to go. The trail that's left to go is just a half mile, but you have to walk out basically on an edge of a cliff. What I mean is that when we walked up to the top of the place, we're basically standing on the top of a plateau. But then there's a rock that juts out about, it's not a half mile. It's probably, I don't know. No, about half mile. Yeah, I would say it'd be about half mile. I don't know distances, but it jut out of that rock face, and it left a little trail for you to walk on, and on each side of that trail was a 1,500-foot drop. Like, literally, you had about 4 feet of trail to walk on, and then there's a cliff. The only thing to prevent you from falling off the cliff is that they installed chains for you to hold on to. So I'm terrified. I'm not necessarily terrified of heights. I'm terrified of falling, which is, I would assume a difference. I'm sure that there's a difference in there, but I am afraid of falling. We get up there and I'm like already dying of, you know, we had water and stuff with us, but I'm still dying, and I don't know if it was just the heat or me being dumb. I decide, yep, let's go do that. So we're walking along this cliff with huge drops on each side of us, and we finally get to the end we got to the end, and at the end of the trail is just an area to look out on. It's gorgeous from up there. You get to look all around. They call it Angel's Landing. Well, I think they call it Angel. Well, never mind. I'm not going to say why they call it that. But we get to the edge of the cliff, and there's just a small seating area that we can sit at. Now, what I mean by seating area, it's just a flat surface. There's still cliffs all around us, but it's more like a 20 foot by 20 foot kind of area where people are sitting down and resting. Just sitting down on the rock and resting and, looking out at the view. But there's a tree that's growing out on the side of one of the cliffs. Like, it's on the edge of the cliff. My friend gets a big idea to hang off the side of the cliff while holding onto the tree. And I'm like, no, that's stupid, idiotic. Don't do that. It's a worst idea ever. But that's never stopped this guy from doing that. And so I tell him I can't look. My other friend grabs my camera and is like, hey, yeah, we'll go and take your photo. So he takes the photo and gets back in, doesn't kill himself. And then we make our way back down, out of the canyon, and we go back to St. George. And I'm like, damn it, I'm gonna get some ice cream, because I'm not really a sweet tooth guy, but man, after all that, ice cream seems pretty good. So, okay, don't worry. There is a reason why I'm telling you all this. So the next day, his friend's grandpa has some land out in the middle of nowhere, and we go out there and go do some shooting, but it's target practice shooting, whatever. But it's kind of on the way to a city called Colorado City. Colorado City is a polygamous city. That's just it. There's the Mormon church, or the LDS church, whatever. And then there's a fundamental LDS church. The fundamental LDS church still practices polygamy. Like, you know that they're polygamous because they all wear clothes that look like that they're from Little House on the Prairie. Like, they all look like that because all the clothes are all handmade, and their hair is done up in a bun. Like, you can tell if they're polygamous or not. It's pretty clear. We decide, hey, let's go out there and check out the polygamists, because that's a thing to do. I don't know. We were like 19 at the time, so like there was nothing else to do out there. His grandpa didn't have like an Xbox or anything, and like, if you've never, most people I'm sure haven't even heard of the name St. George, but St. George is the biggest city there, and there's nothing there. There's like a Walmart and a movie theater, so there's like really nothing for us to do. I was like, hey, let's go out to Colorado City, check out the polygamists. So we get out there, and it takes us about 45 minutes from anywhere to get to Colorado City, and it's a super small city. Probably 2,000 people, 3,000 people that live there. I don't know. I'm just guesstimating. But we get there, and it's the damnedest thing. It's one of the weirdest cities, or one of the weirdest places I've ever been. You know, it's just like any other, it looks like just like any other town, except for the houses are huge. And they're all square houses, like no architecture, no like anything aesthetically pleasing about the houses. Just a big block with a roof on it, with a bunch of windows on each side. Like, no kidding, like 10 windows on each side for like 3 different floors. They look basically like big barns with a whole bunch of windows, because they have like 90,000 kids. Anyway, so we get there and we start taking photos of the houses and stuff, because it's just such a weird area. One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life was there, though. One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life was there. It was a school bus, like an old yellow school bus, that someone converted into a dump truck. Yeah. Someone took a school bus, hollowed it out, and turned it into a dump truck. Never seen anything like that before in my life. That's the only kind of... the only place that you see stuff like that is in like third world countries, like in Guatemala or something like that, where you basically have to work with what you got. I've never seen anything like that here in America. Anyway, take photos of that. But we want to go and get something to. We know that there's like a grocery store there, so we ask for directions, and people know that people know who you are in that town, and I swear they have people like looking out and watching to see if there's people causing mischief in that town, because we were followed by a car the whole time that we were there. But anyway, we asked a girl for directions, and she seemed super creeped out. Again, we are a couple guys in a car asking for directions, who she doesn't know, so that could be the reason why she was creeped out, but I'm sure part of it was also because we're outsiders. Anyway, she tells us how to get to the grocery store. And the grocery store it looks like a big gas station, basically. So it's a tiny grocery store, has maybe 5 aisles, but they've got just food in there, milk, eggs, whatever. But what was something that another thing I've never seen before was on the door where it normally says like, no pets allowed, no shirt, no shoes, no service, no smoking. Where it normally says stuff like that, there was a sign that said, your torso must be covered. Your torso must be covered. It's like, what? I understand they don't want guys walking in, out with their shirts off, coming in and stuff. That's fine. They can have whatever rules they want. I've just never had anyone say your torso must be covered, and I don't think anywhere else would have a sign that says that. But it looks like it was manufactured. It wasn't like someone took out a Sharpie and a piece of paper and wrote that on there. It looks like someone bought it somewhere, and it was like a pre-manufactured sticker. It's the weirdest thing. So we take a photo of that because we think that that's really funny too. And I have my friend take a photo, and he takes the photo and then looks down at the camera, and he's puzzled. He's like, hey, you got 37 exposures on this camera? I'm like, I don't know. I thought I think there's film in it. He's like, wait a minute. He opens up the camera, and there's no film in the camera. The camera I brought from home had no film in it because I'm a dumbass, and I didn't check to see if there was any film in the camera. I just assumed that there was film in this camera. So the bug lady, the friend hanging off the cliff, Little House on the Prairie, school bus dump truck, torso must be covered, and a lot of other photos weren't taken because I didn't realize that cameras, well, I knew cameras needed film, but I thought that if it said it had numbers on it, then there's film in the camera. And then I worked in a photo department for 5 years after that. So that's me being a dumbass and bringing a camera that doesn't have any exposures in it. Yep. Let's see. So tell us a story that involves Greg. Oh. Well, I wouldn't say funny, but what's kind of creepy about that whole Angel's Landing experience? Yeah, Greg was mentioning a big oof, that spooky. I had a friend die messing around on Angel's Landing. The year after I hiked Angel's Landing, a kid fell off of Angel's Landing with the same name as me, which was kind of like, I mean, it's all a coincidence, but it just was like, oh. It made you feel like, oh, that could have been close. But no, it was just a coincidence. Yeah. A story that involves... Tell us a story that involves Greg. Those stories are boring. Because it's basically us playing Magic or Magic the Gathering or hanging out with some other friends that don't really. I mean, I went to a wedding with him once. We hung out at another friend's house, playing a cell phone game. Other than that, it's just probably a bunch of Magic stories, right, Greg? Do you know of anything that's memorable or interesting enough to tell people? Because I don't know. I usually lead a boring life, but there are just some instances where I'm like, oh, I gotta remember that and tell that as a story. Sorry. Well, let's see. I can tell one more story. This one. This one is another pharmacy story. It's not as long as the previous story, the whole vacation story. It's not as long as that. But, so, this one is a story about a customer that we tried to fire. When I say try to fire, it's basically telling us, it's our way of saying that, you know, you're no longer welcome here, you gotta go somewhere else. So we tried to fire them. So, again, I don't know when these people arrive at this pharmacy, but it just seems like they magically arrive. So she must have been there on a day I wasn't working, but she comes in, and it's a Monday morning. I don't know her at all. She comes in. She's an older lady, but oh, geez, sorry, I got all burpy there for a moment. So she's an older lady. She's not elderly. But she's older, I would say mid-50s or something like that. And she comes in on a Rascal scooter. You know, like some of those scooters you see at the entrance to grocery stores and stuff. She gets on one of those, comes in, scoots on up to the front counter, and jumps the line, basically. Pulls it right up to the counter and tells us, hey, get my medications ready. I only have an hour to be here for. And we're like, what? Like, lady, I can help you out over here. If you want it to come back down over here, I can help you over at a different part of the pharmacy, because you're kind of like you're like stepped in line in front of this other lady. I'm like, come on, I can help you out over here. So she comes on over, tells me who she is, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we can get your medications ready. And after I got done helping her, after the customers leave and stuff like that, I just asked my pharmacist, I'm like, who is that? Like, I had no idea who this person was, and the pharmacist is like, oh yeah, she's a new patient. She seems like that. She seems like a memorable patient. They're only memorable if they're really nice or really rude. And she's not really nice. So when he said she's going to be an interesting patient, it's going to be a memorable. She's going to be a rough customer. Anyway, let's see. The elevator story. Oh no. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll tell the elevator story after this. I totally forgot. Yeah, that's right. Jeez. Man, now I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, going back to the pharmacy. So, she leaves and comes back. We sell her medications. And then... Okay, let me backtrack because I lost my train of thought. Sorry. This is what happens when I look at the chat while I'm telling a story. Because I'm like, oh, I want to respond to something in the chat. But then I realize, oh, wait, I'm telling a story. Crap, that's my shiny keys moment. You know, I gotta focus on one thing, otherwise I get super distracted. Sorry about that. So, help this lady. She, She comes back about half hour later. We sell her stuff and she leaves. We come to find out after the next couple weeks, she always comes in on Monday because she's part of a, what do you call it? She's part of a, where's my notes? She lives at a retirement home. Now she's not elderly. It's probably has something to do with like mobility issues or something like that. Never really figured out why she lived up there, but I'm fairly certain it's because her kids didn't want to put up with her anymore. Because she would always come in, always be incredibly rude and cut in front of customers. So one time she came in, and the way pharmacy works is that when you sell medications to people, you have to offer consultation. Like, let the patient know, hey, here are the directions. Do you have any questions about the medication? These are the side effects. Now, a lot of pharmacies don't verbally say any questions or anything like that, because they have a consultation window, and that's kind of their way of getting around that legal issue by saying, hey, we offer it, there's a separate window for it, but it's legally required for us to offer a consultation. But it's a store policy that on new medications or on new refills that the pharmacist has to consult. It's really dumb, and we have a lot of angry customers that say, hey, I've been on this medication for years. Why do I have to wait and talk to this pharmacist? Nothing's changed on it. And we have to tell them, store policy, it's one of the dumbest things ever, that policy, because it literally, you have people come in and they've been on medications their entire life, the same medication, nothing's changed. And then they have to wait for the pharmacist, and sometimes the pharmacist is on the phone, like taking a new prescription over the phone from a doctor's office, using the restroom. Like, man, if the pharmacist needs to go and use the restroom, it's like, oh crap, because everything just shuts down in the pharmacy. Can't really do much in the pharmacy without a pharmacist there overseeing things. Like, anyway, so the whole consultation thing is BS, but we have to do it because it's part of our job. So this lady comes in again, wheelchair lady, the rascal lady, scoots on over, cuts in front of people, but we just, at this point, when she cuts in front of other people, we just kind of look at the people behind her and just kind of do one of those, like, shrug your shoulders, like, sorry, type of thing, and we haven't had anyone really complain. People have been kind of understanding. So we sell her medications. We tell her, hey, you need to come on over to consultation. Pharmacist needs to talk to you about medications. The pharmacist is in the restroom right now, so it will be a minute. Which I totally understand why people get a little upset or agitated that they have to wait for medications that they've been on. But this lady gets super angry, starts yelling at us, and like, I need my medications. I can only be here for an hour. And it's like, lady, they're not gonna leave without you. Like, I'm sure places like that do head counts. Like, every Monday morning at the same time, they would bring in a bus full of elderly patients or elderly people to do their shopping at the store that I was at. So they do head counts and stuff. They're not just going to leave without you, lady. We're not telling her this, of course, but she's been irrational about everything. So we just tell her, hey, sorry, it's just going to be a minute. You know, sorry about it. Please be patient. And she says, if you don't give me my medications now, I'm going to leap over that counter and grab them. Now, this lady is in no position to be leaping out of anything. Maybe unless someone said, hey, anyone want a free donut? Then maybe she might get out of her chair. But this lady's in no position to be leaping anything. She's getting like super incredibly upset about having to wait. The pharmacist goes over there. Eventually he gets over there. She had to wait there about 3 minutes, which is, I mean, whoa, 3 minutes. Sorry about that, lady. Goes over there, does consultation, and then leaves. And we tell the pharmacist, like, hey, every time she comes in, she's like this. She's not like how mad she got this time, but she's always after us. Like, it's always, there's no way of pleasing this lady. He said he'll talk about it with the pharmacy manager and see what we can do. I'm like, okay, whatever. So she comes in a couple more times, And then the last time that she came in, I was there, and I was helping her drop off. And, man, I can't remember for the life of me what had happened. Drop off is where you hand in the prescriptions to new people, tell them, hey, I need this refilled or whatever. So I'm over there at drop off, and she comes up, and I'm talking to her, and I remember, can't talk, jeez. I remember I'm being pleasant with her. I didn't say anything out of the ordinary because I know how she is, and I know that anything will not tip her off. Anything you say or do will be immediately interpreted as being negative. So best behavior. I'm over there trying to help her as best as I can, and I don't remember the context of the conversation for the life of me. But as she's pulling off on her scooter, she's like looking at me, and she's like, well, you don't have to be stupid about that. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I said that to her. I'm like, excuse me? She just pulls off, and I just go over to my pharmacy manager. I'm like, she just called me stupid. And the pharmacy manager's like, okay, we're done. We're done with her. Multiple times, her coming in, belittling us, berating us, whatever. Tells us when she comes up to the window to pick up her medications, pharmacist pulls her over to consultation and just says, we're done. This is the last time. We can't help you out anymore. We can transfer your prescriptions wherever you'd like, but we can't help you anymore. You're she didn't say it like this, but she was basically saying you're a jerk and we can't put up with it. But she didn't say it in so many words. She was being pleasant about it. And you can probably tell where this story's going again, right? So we get a phone call from corporate, because corporate always has your back. I mean, it really has a lot of similarities to the other story, right? So corporate calls us and tells us that this lady says that we're the only pharmacy she can go to because she has mobility issues and she can only get around because of she can only get around because of the bus rides that the place gives, which is not true, because I know I've seen her before on days where she doesn't come in and pick up her medications and her kids are with her and stuff. So I know that that's not the only place where she can go. I know that that's not a real thing, but that's what we're told, is that we have to have her come back. But we had to strike a deal with her, basically saying, okay, you can come back, but you have to have someone else come in and pick up your medications because you're basically a bitch. So that's what we had to do. We couldn't fire another customer because corporate had the customer's back and not our back. Fortunately, we did see her periodically, but we had no interaction with her. We would just see her out in the store. And so periodically, her kids would come in. Her kids lived 50 miles away. Her kids would come in, pick up her medications, and there were no more problems. There were always problems when she came in, but there were no problems when the kids came in. We never got things wrong, because we never did get things wrong in the first place. But when she would come in, things would be wrong. Anyway, so it's just another story about corporate not allowing us to stick up for ourselves. Let's see. So, if you're reading the chat, Greg, a friend of mine, mentioned that we should talk about the elevator. Now, oh man, where do I start? So, one of my other friends got engaged to be married. And so, what do you do when you get engaged to be married? You go down to Vegas and for a bachelor party. So that's what we did. We drove the, 5.5, 6 hours from home down to Vegas and stayed at the Link. That's the hotel on the Strip with the Ferris wheel, the giant Ferris wheel. It's called the Link. It used to be called the Imperial Palace, but they redid it and it's called the Link. So we stayed at the Link and we went out, and that night what did we do? We went to Gordon Ramsay's Burger. That's the name of the restaurant. Burgr. Like, whatever. But it was the best hamburger I've ever had. It was a $20 hamburger, or cheeseburger, but without any fixings. No fries, no drink. It was just $20 for the hamburger. But you know what? I would gladly pay another $20 for another one of those hamburgers. Anyway, that's not the whole point of the story. I'm going off on my own tangent now. So we go out, we have some fun. We don't really gamble because, well, we gamble a little bit, but nothing super major because, I mean, we're down there just to really have some fun. I even brought down my Nintendo Switch so that we could play Mario Kart in the room, which we did. But we go out, and it's I don't remember how long we were out for. We were out for probably 3-4 hours. And then we decided we're going to go back to the room. We go back to the room, and we go up the elevator, and we're in an elevator. It's me, Greg, another one of our friends, and my friend's brother. We're in an elevator with 4 other people? Yeah, 4 other people. I'm assuming it was 2 couples. And so there's 9 of us in this elevator. 9? Wait, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Math is hard. There's 8 of us in this elevator. And the door opens, and it's the other couple's floor. So one of the guys gets out of the elevator, and elevators have 2 doors. They have an inside door for you, for the people inside of the elevator, and they have an outside door for the people wanting to walk in on the elevator. So there's 2 sets of doors. So the guy gets out, and the outside doors close, leaving our door open. And we're like, well, that's not right. So we're like looking at the backside of this door, and we're like, what just happened? So this one guy just walks off of this elevator and then leaves us in that elevator. We push the door open, nothing happens. We try to push a button to go up to another floor or anything, nothing. I mean, the elevator's dead. The lights are still on. It looks like there's still power to the buttons and everything, but nothing's happening. It's not moving. So, fortunately enough, none of us had to pee, because if that happened, oh man, if that was a thing, like, oh man, there's nothing worse. Well, I'm sure there's worse things, but that was the only thing that was going through my head, was like, oh man, I'm so glad that, I don't need to pee or anything. But we're trapped in this elevator. 7 people trapped in this elevator, and so we pick up the phone, or someone picks up the phone. I can't remember who it was. Picks up the emergency phone and says, hey, yeah, we're stuck in this elevator. And I'm assuming it was contacting someone there at the hotel. And they say, okay, we'll bring someone up. And about 15 minutes later, this is my recollection, about 15 minutes later, they finally send up a repair guy, or someone from maintenance. Now, during this whole time, we're in an elevator with 3 other people we don't know anything about. The one guy that got off the elevator went to try to go get help too. So we're just kind of just sitting there, hoping that the cables don't break at this point. I mean, you don't think that that's really going to happen, but you still have that in the back of your head that's like, so the doors aren't closing. What else is going to happen? But during this time, there's one lady that starts to get claustrophobic. I don't remember if it's just her being claustrophobic or her just getting antsy, upset, or anything, but I know that she wasn't doing good. I don't think she was mad. but it had something to do with like anxiety, and she started panicking. And we try to calm her down. Like we end up making small talk with the other people in the elevator. Like, hey, where are you from? It's like, oh, we're here from, I think they said that they're from Texas or Louisiana or something like that, somewhere down south. Whatever, that doesn't matter. We're just trying to make small talk with this lady because it's like, hey, we're in here with you too. Don't go crazy. And I even had a unopened bottle of vodka with me. It was just a small, like 300 milliliter bottle. I'm like, do you want to have a drink or something? Calm me down. She's like, no, I got to get out of this elevator. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is fantastic. But about another half hour goes by. I think it's about another half hour. So we're in the elevator for about 45 minutes to about an hour. About that amount of time. It's long enough where you're like, I think I might need to pee in a little bit, you know? It's getting to that point. And then all of a sudden we hear who we later find, well, not later find out. We just hear on the other side of the door, it's like, we're here from, I don't know, Paradise Fire Department. Paradise is technically where all the hotels are. It's Paradise City. They're from Paradise Fire Department or Las Vegas Fire Department. We're like, oh, great. We got people that know what they're doing helping us on this door. So they say, well, bear with us a little bit. We're going to try turning off the lights and turning back on the lights. And I'm like, oh, man, this lady is already going through a lot. That's all we need is the lights to go off too. And we try to reassure her. It's like, it's just going to be a second. It's just going to be a second. Don't worry about it. Lights go off and go back on. It's like, oh, man, phew. Just off and then back on, just a couple of seconds. So that's great. They're like, well, that didn't seem to work. Well, we're going to try doing something else. And so they stick this metal rod through the door. Through the door. Because they couldn't get the outside doors open. They couldn't get any of the doors open. Because apparently there's a latch on our side of the door that we just needed to, pull on, and then that would manually release the door. So he's pulling this rod and is like, hey, can you hook this on? You're gonna find something on the other side of the door that looks like some connector. Can you connect that on there? And we connect that onto the door, and then the door pops open. And I'm just sitting there thinking, couldn't someone have told us to do that? Well, the door opens, we get out finally, and there's a guy there from the hotel. And we're like, all right, let's get some comps. And the guy is sitting there at the hotel. One of my friends recorded this incident, and he said he posted it on YouTube, but I couldn't tell you where the video's at. But the guy from the hotel's like, hey, yeah, sorry about that. You guys staying here at the hotel? Yeah? We tell him, yeah, we're staying in the hotel. He ends up giving us some of the money we spent on the hotel back. We had, 3 nights there? And it ended up being $400, $500 for the room. And he ends up giving us $100 and something back onto the room, and gives us a gift card that we could use at any of the establishments there at the hotel, any of the food establishments. And we're like, okay, well, what do we have here to eat? And it's like, well, you can't use it at Hash House A Go-Go, which is a really nice place to go. But anyway, you can't use it at that restaurant. You could use it at any of the bars. You can get some drinks, which you don't want to. If you go to Vegas and you buy drinks at a bar, you're doing it wrong. You can get drinks at the bar, or you could use it at the Guy Fieri's that's here at the hotel. And I'm like, oh, Guy Fieri. Yeah. Right. Guy Fieri's. So we take it. I mean, the hotel could definitely have done giving us more, but at that point, it's like, hey, you gave us some free stuff. That's fine, whatever. So we get back to our room. We go to sleep. So we know where we're gonna eat the next night. During the day, we go and do our things. I can't remember, whatever. Beside the point. We go do some things in Vegas, and then at night we decide, okay, so what are we gonna do tonight? I remember we're trying to get tickets for a show. My friend wanted to go see Ka or another Cirque du Soleil show, but the tickets were like super expensive. They were $150 a pop, something like that. It was either that or we couldn't find any discounts for it, or they were full, or they weren't performing. One way or another, we decided that, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go to that Guy Fieri's restaurant, and then we're going to go and do some golfing at Topgolf. Sweet. Let's go do that. So we go to Guy Fieri's, and do not eat at Guy Fieri's restaurant. It is bad. It is, well, the food was... Like, seriously, I've had better food at Applebee's and Chili's. It's that kind of food, though. You know, burgers. I'm sure you could get a steak. You know, it's that kind of food, you know. Chili's, Applebee's type of food. But we get it, and it's super greasy. And I never really get heartburn when I eat stuff. But, man, the rest of that night, I was just like, oof. Oh, heartburn. I ate the food because, I mean, it tasted okay. It wasn't... I would have been upset if I actually had to pay money for it, you know? So, you got it for free, but, man, it still kind of made me... It still made me kind of have heartburn for the rest of the night. And that's the reason why I was so crappy at golf, Greg. It wasn't because I have no skill whatsoever. It's because of Guy Fieri. Sorry. Anyway, elevator story. Got trapped in an elevator in Las Vegas. Never to leave. One of my elevators at my office shudders and jolts sometimes at random times. Figure I'll fall one day, but better than taking the stairs. Well, I mean, how many flights of stairs do you have at that place? Because, I mean... If old Otis started shaking and shuddering at me, I'd be like, stairs seem pretty okay. But if it's like an office building where you've got like 10 flights of stairs, like, yeah, I would risk it too. Oh, I did get the Mayor Flavortown burger. Totally forgot about that. Like, Guy Fieri, whenever I look at him, like, whenever he was doing his, like, diners, dives, and whatever, I looked at that guy, and I'm like, this is what herpes looks like. This is, like, an embodiment of what herpes looks like. Just a guy that's always in your face, and, like, oh, it's all about the sauce. And I'm like, oh, man, this guy is trying too hard. Anyway, so that was the Elevator Vegas story. Let's see. Bridget, you cannot do elevators. Yeah, I figure that if I die in an elevator, it's gonna be pretty quick, right? You're only gonna have like 10 seconds to think about it. It's much better than getting eaten alive. I mean, the perfect way to die is, you know, in your sleep, right? Or on tops of piles and piles of money, surrounded by beautiful women, and having a heart attack. That's probably another good way to die. Let's see. Well, those are the stories they wrote down. I would prefer to write them down before telling them, so that way I don't really miss any steps or miss any details or anything like that. Had candy bars thrown at us at a pharmacy once. I was dating a girl that worked in the same pharmacy I worked at, and this is her story, not mine. But she was telling me that she was helping a patient at at consultation. Like, I don't remember what the whole conversation was about, but she had a bunch of king-size candy bars. She had like 10 or 15 king-size candy bars. I'm assuming that she was doing something for some kids. I don't know, but she had a lot of king-size candy bars. And she got upset. She had them on the counter, just sitting on the counter. She got upset and just like did one of those arm sweeping motions and like flung them at us. Well, flung them at her anyway. I wasn't there to see it. But yeah, I had a lady get mad at us and flung some candy bars at us. There's nothing that you can really say in a pharmacy to get someone that upset. Well, yeah, nothing. That's not really a story, it's just an experience. Let's see. Anyone have any questions or anything? Because I'm out of stories. I'm out of stories for the time being. I could probably ramble on a couple of stories and try to tell you some things, but again, I just want to try to write them down before I go into them. Let's see. Well, I've got nothing else to say. I do have some other stories that, if enough people are interested in me doing another live stream sometime, I'll definitely do that, but, yeah, I'll just save some more stories for another time. And whenever I do my Reddit stories, I do sometimes pepper in my own stories, so you'll see some there too. Oh, you got 4 floors to your floor and 14 total. So you need to go up 4 flights of stairs or use the questionable elevator. I agree. Like, if it was just like 1 floor, you'd be like, meh, I got this. I'll just take the stairs, whatever. 4 floors, yeah, I'll risk death. Risk death on my rickety elevator. Anyway. I'm sure that there's a lag to the stream, because it feels like that there's a lag to the stream between when I talk and when you guys hear it. So I'm just gonna kind of like waste some time here for a minute, wait to see if you guys have any questions or anything before I end the stream. You have the more wholesome version of my candy bar story. Did they throw granola at you or something? Is that why it's so wholesome? Oh, I'm 30. How old am I? I am 36 years old. I am ancient. I like to say that I'm an adult impersonator. I definitely don't act my age. Well, let's see. Well, no, let's see. Spectilla? Spectilia. Okay, there we go. I was helping 2 ladies at drop-off and told them that my colleague was going to help them because I was feeling faint. I came back from getting a drink, and the ladies had bought me a candy bar, so I wouldn't pass out. Aw, precious. You know, sometimes you do hear stories. No, character limit is annoying. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. But you do get some of those stories from people that... I've had people give me... drop off letters for me, you know, to gratitude. I had a lady give me a gift card for some restaurant. I can't remember where. It was like Denny's or something. I don't... for a restaurant. You know, you do have some people that are genuinely grateful that you helped them. But it always seems like that you get the gratitude from people. When you get those letters, it's always you doing just basic stuff. It's never like you having to call like 5 separate doctor's offices or their insurance and been on the phone with them for 2 hours or anything like that. It's never doing anything out of the ordinary, which it kind of shocks me a little bit, because sometimes well, you kind of reminded me of another story I had another time when I got in trouble at a pharmacy. So, story on the fly. All right. So, an instance where going above and beyond did not work out for me. So, I was working in the pharmacy, of course, and lady drops off a medication I have never heard of. And come to find out it's a heart medication, and that the patient, she just had some sort of a procedure done on her heart, like an angioplasty or something where they actually had to go in and fiddle around with her heart. And so the medication that she got was, again, don't know the name of the medication, couldn't repeat it back to you. It wasn't like Revadio or anything like that, but I just knew when I looked at the prescription, I'm like, we don't have this. Like, if I don't know what it is when I look at the prescription, I'm like, nope, don't have it. But I tell her, well, we don't have this, but we can order it in for you. Let me see. And I type up the medication. How pharmacies work, for those that don't know, is that when you receive a prescription, we can receive a prescription either from a fax, a phone call from a doctor's office, or someone dropping it off, you know, paper copy at drop-off. Then what the technician does is the technician types up the prescription in the computer and sends the claim to the patient's insurance company. And within 5 seconds or so, we get a response back from the insurance company saying, oh, that medication? Yeah, it's this price for this patient on this plan. So I take the prescription. I tell the patient, hey, you know, we can order in for you, but let me see how much it's going to be first. Because if it's a weird medication, chances are it's going to be $1 million bajillion dollars. I type it up, and it is $1 million bajillion dollars. It was like $400 or something like that. It was, and it's for like 30 pills. So 30 pills, $400. That's with her insurance. Without insurance, it was like $800, $900. It was like forget about it, expensive, you know. It's like, I'd rather take that elevator than pay this medication expensive. And the lady's like, well, I just got out of the hospital. I don't have that kind of money. You know, I'm like, let me see what I can do. And I help her. I go online on my phone, and I find her a coupon for this medication. With a lot of name brand only medications, which this was, the drug company will put out a coupon that you can use in conjunction with your insurance to drop down the price of a medication to, instead of $400, it ended up being like $130, which is still pricey, but definitely a lot better of a pill to swallow. Ooh, I'm funny. Make it a lot easier for the patient to actually buy it. But so I find this card, and I actually take the time to set it up for her. She had to call a drug company Oh no, she had to call the place to set it up so that she could use the coupon, and the coupon wasn't working. So I had to call the company myself, and I was on the phone with. She was there watching me do all this. She didn't like leave and come back later. I was helping her for an hour and a half, trying to get this medication to go through and bring it down to the $130. And it happened. I didn't want to order in, because if we ordered it in and we never sold it, we could send it back, but we'd only get a percentage of whatever the price of that medication was back. So like if we bought it for $700 to the bottle, we send it back, we might only get $400 back, and we lose $300. So I wanted to make sure that the price was good for the patient before ordering it, because if she doesn't want it, that's us losing $300. So I spent the hour and a half on the phone trying to get this thing to go through, and it finally does. She is super grateful. And tell her, okay, come back around this time. We should have it good to go. So she does. She comes back around 3 o'clock or so. We've got a huge line. And I'm working with one of the dumbest techs I've ever worked with. Possibly one of the dumbest human beings I've ever worked with. And I've got stories about this guy. But anyway, I'm already working with this guy, which is putting more stress. And we're understaffed at this place, so we have a long line, and I'm working with a moron. And then the lady comes back up to the counter, and I'm already like juggling 2 or 3 things at a time. And I remember she said, I don't exactly remember what she says, but I remember she says something like, "Oh, that medication. Well, what if we try doing something else with it? Or let's try to use this card with it too, or try something that I know is not going to work, but she's wanting me to try." And I immediately do one of these. I pull one of these faces, and it's one of those involuntary faces. It's like for example, if you turn on your TV and you see like a sports clip of a guy breaking his leg or something like that, you're like, oh, it's one of those kind of reactions where it's totally involuntary. She has me try to do something that I know is not going to work, and I know is not going to be better than the thing that I had her do, the thing I did the previous day. And I make a reaction with my face like, don't do this to me right now. And I catch myself. It was like a split second. I had that face for like a second, and then I realized, oh crap, what did I just do? And I just thought, no, I don't think that that's really going to work. I can try it if you really want me to, but honestly, what we have here is going to be the best thing. Like, she brought in another just generic coupon card, which will never be better than using your insurance. I tell her, well, let me go and grab your medication. And I go to the back. What had happened is I did grab that card. I'm like, okay, I can go ahead and try it, but I don't think it's going to work. And I didn't say it in a tone of voice or anything. I was just like, well, I don't think this is going to be better, but give me a second, I can go back and try. So I go back to behind the counter, and I'm on my computer. I'm just typing up this discount card's information. And I noticed that my pharmacist walked up to the counter. I walked up to the counter and was talking to the lady. I'm like, what's going on? Are you saying about how great of a job I did yesterday, helping her out and stuff? I'm typing this up, and I look back at them, and my pharmacist grabs her a tissue, and she's crying. I'm like, what? I type up the coupon, whatever, and lo and behold, I was 100% correct. The card that she had wasn't going to do anything. I go back up, and someone else takes the prescription and sells it to her, because I got pulled away from doing something else. I don't know, but someone else sells her the prescription. Later that day, when we're done with that mini rush that we had, my pharmacist pulls me aside and says, yeah, that lady was upset. She was mad at you. I'm like, what? She said, yeah, she said that she didn't like the face you made. And I'm like, the face I made? I spent an hour and a half with this woman yesterday, saving her $300 on a medication that she absolutely needed. And I made a face at her? And she's upset? It's like, yeah, she's actually pretty upset. I gave her the phone number for corporate. She's going to call corporate. I'm like, are you kidding me? I helped this lady for an hour and a half, getting her medication that she needed, saved her $200 to $300, went bent over backwards, and because when she asked me to do something I knew wasn't going to happen, and I had that involuntary twitch type of face, like, she's mad at that, and she was crying to you? Yeah. So, I got a talking to about how I needed to be more friendly with people. And I'm like, no, are you really kidding me? A week later, we get a message from corporate about how we need to be more friendly with our patients and have to work on how we are in our interactions with them. Not necessarily just our tone of voice, but also our facial expressions. I'm like, are you kidding me? This lady spent an hour and a half with her, complained to my boss's boss about me after spending so much time with her and helping her and saving her money. So hearing that, people, you're not really going too much out of your way and helping people, and they reward you with, well, a gift card or, a nice thank you letter and stuff, that confuses me, because you would think it would be the other way around, right? Like, nope. Just went out of my way for this lady, did all I could. Help her. She knew exactly how long I spent working on it because she was there with me. And then went as far as to complain about me to corporate because I pulled a face on her. Even me telling my boss that what I told you guys, that I spent a lot of time with her. I helped her out. I saved her so much money. I was making sure that, we got her good service. But you're going to write me up for pulling a face at her. A face that I did not have on my face for more than a second. That is some bullshit. Anyway, so stories. L. Dodd, are you ever going to do a face reveal? Maybe. I suppose. I'm not gonna do that right now. I could pull up a picture on my Facebook and show you guys, I suppose. I don't really have anything to hide. Let's see. Sorry, hang on. I know my mouse is in the way. I'm just a fat guy behind a mic. I guarantee you, me showing you what my face looks like is going to be totally different than what you expect. So, don't be surprised. Oh, that's a really pixelated photo. Well, yeah, that works. Now let's see, how am I going to do this? Okay, I know how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to open up Photoshop. Let's see. And then switch this from capturing that to Photoshop. Boom. There I am. Like I said, Nothing. You totally didn't picture that, right? Okay, enough of this. I gotta get this off the screen. I don't like photos of myself. And that's really why... Oh, I almost ended the stream clicking on the wrong window. But that's really why I have a cartoon picture of myself rather than a picture of myself. No one needs to look at this. Nope, wrong window. There we go. Let's see. Oh, shut up, cute. Whatever. Let's see. So, again, if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna hang out here for a few more minutes. Other than that, unless someone brings up another story that I'm like, oh yeah, I could tell this story. I've already been on here chatting for 2 hours, and trying to keep talking for 2 hours is difficult. Anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna hang out here for a couple more minutes if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to end the stream here probably in the next 5 minutes or so. Oh, stop. Eldod, that was actually kind of cute. You stop that. No, that was a photo taken in Yellowstone. That's a good photo of me. And I specifically showed you that one because I'm like, oh, this one I don't look like a troll. Okay, I'll show you this one. That was taken 2 years ago? About a year and a half ago. Up at Yellowstone. I've gained probably about, I don't know, like 10, 20 pounds since then. So, I would be more than happy to do more face reveals after I lose some weight. I actually, gosh, back in the day, about 8 years ago, I went from about 320 pounds down to 200 pounds in like 6 months. Working out, eating right, and playing Dance Dance Revolution. Like literally, that was my workout. Play Dance Dance Revolution. So I know I could do it again. It's just that the older you get, the metabolism slows down, which is an excuse. It just more or less, things hurt more. Like bones ache and whatever. Me being an old guy at 37. I often think to myself, you know, there's going to be a time in my life where I'm going to want to go back and feel as good as I do now. Like, it's only downhill from here. So I know I could lose the weight again. I just didn't. Yeah, I've had some stresses in my life that have kind of had me put some things on hold. So, yeah. Anyway, enough about me. But Yellowstone, I guess I could ramble on about Yellowstone for a little bit. Yellowstone is the most beautiful place on Earth. Well, granted, I've only been to a few places. I've been to do a r/fat logic and see how better you are than these people. No, I don't need that negativity in my life. I mean, it's bad enough when I see like these anti-MLM, these rants where people are like eating like piles of spaghetti and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is healthy spaghetti, so I get to eat more spaghetti. Nom nom nom. It's like, that's not how it works. It's just like when people see these like reduced calorie cookies or something like that. It's like you do realize that it's just all marketing jargon. Reduced does not mean like low calorie or no calories. It just means one cookie would normally be 150 calories and now it's 115 calories or something like that. It's like, you do realize you're still eating a cookie. It doesn't mean you can eat more of them. There are so many things I could just start rants on. But that fat logic stuff is... Oh man, it's a whole like for me, I drink diet soda, and I've been drinking diet soda even when I was skinny, mainly because I mainly started drinking diet soda because I wanted to lose weight, and I I took a look at how much sugar and stuff was just in like Pepsi and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't need that sugar. And then I started diet drinks, started drinking them, and then when I got down to a weight that I was comfortable with, I went back to starting to drink sugar soda, and I'm like, wow, this stuff hurts your teeth. It's so syrupy that I drink it now, not because I'm worried about the calories. I mean, sure, that's part of it, but I drink diet soda now just because it's not as sugary, and it doesn't feel like you're just drinking down syrup. But so diet sodas, I can see why people drink those if they're trying to lose weight. These reduced calorie bad things for you, like reduced calorie pizza. What the hell is that supposed to be? Reduced calorie pizza. Like, you're still eating pizza. You still got cheese on that thing? Yeah. Still got sausage? Yeah. Pepperoni? Yeah. Crust? Yeah, there's crust. Marinara? Yeah, that's pizza. Reduced calorie pizza. Alright. Reduced calorie cookies, same thing. Just there's still sugar in that thing. You're kidding yourself, right? But I think people buy that reduced calorie stuff and think to themselves like, well, I could just eat more of this. Like, I would much rather have a pint. Well, not a pint. I'd rather have like one of those little mini pints, like those dollar mini pints of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, than to have a whole pint of like 300 calorie ice cream. You know, that high top or whatever it's called, Halo Top, I think it's called, where it's like low fat, reduced calorie ice cream. It's like you might as well just be nice at that point. You're taking something away from you and just giving you a bastardized version of that. But then you end up eating the whole pint. It's like that's not how you lose weight. You lose weight by watching what you eat, like portion control, calorie control, and moving around. That's how you lose weight. You don't lose weight by eating more of something that has fewer calories in it. Anyway, I digress. Alright, so yeah, let's see. I suppose if you don't have any questions, I know that there are going to be some people with questions like these. These are basic questions like, why did I start my channel? Well, I started my channel for a couple of reasons. This channel's been around for 4 or 5 years. It was originally a Let's Play channel. You know, like Let's Play video games. And I made about 130 of those videos, and no one would watch them. Like the one I had most views on, I actually paid Google or paid YouTube to advertise. I actually paid like $150, or not 150, it was like $120 to advertise one video, and it got like 50,000 views, but no one subscribed. They just saw the video and was like, and just went on to another thing. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I spent so much time. It wasn't just like, hey, let's play a video game, let's watch me play a video game, and just poop that on YouTube. I actually spent time and edited this stuff too. Like, it was a lot of man hours, and I just came to a conclusion that Let's Play videos are easy. Everyone can do a Let's Play video. And everyone does a Let's Play video. Like, it's one of the more popular genres in YouTube, just watching people play video games. So to get noticed playing video games, it's not gonna happen. Oh wait, you saw the privated videos? What? Huh? Oh no, those oh, I saw. I know what you're talking about. No, those I've done recently. I'm talking about some way older videos that I deleted off of YouTube. I'm sure I still have them on another computer or something like that, but those video game videos, I would play like Amnesia, The Dark Descent, you know, horror games, and I hate horror games, but I liked watching people play them, so I'm like, well, maybe people would like watching me play them. So I would generally play horror games, like Slender, the 8 pages, or I don't know, what's another one? Cry of Fear, Penumbra. I started doing that kind of stuff, but again, no one was watching, and it was impossible to get anyone. I would log in and be super duper excited when I saw someone that commented on my video, which I still am. I still think it's amazing that people want to hear me talk or read Reddit stuff. I'm still super grateful that, or humbled that people want to actually take their time and listen to what I have to say, which is amazing to me now. But back then, I would go weeks without any comments. And it just got to the point where I was like, I have 130 videos. I can understand being a startup, only having a few videos, not having any sort of a viewer base, but just having excuse me, having so many videos and still not getting any traction, I ended up just deleting my channel. And which sends a good message to the kids. Hey kids, if something doesn't work, don't worry. Don't worry about trying hard or keeping at it. Just go ahead and cancel and just go on to something else. But anyway, a couple years later, let's see, it was about 2 years ago. I thought something personal about me is I'm such a science and space nerd. Oh, Greg, I can't read that, Greg. Before Kyoto was famous, I just ignored him, even in real life. Now I offer him favors all the time. Jeez. Well, thanks, Eldad. I love your voice, which is part of the reason why I like your channel. Well, thank you. When I've mentioned it before, when I hear my voice, when I hear my voice back when I edit, I'm just like, ugh. But I'm sure everyone has the same reaction when they hear their own voice on like a video or something. Anyway, back to me being a nerd. I love space. I love learning about different stars. I like learning about differences in planets and like space-time, and just I am such a nerd about that kind of stuff. So I started 2 years ago. I started making a couple more videos. I still have them hidden on my channel. I still have them. I haven't privated on my channel. I took them off after a little bit, but I have one that talked about Phobos and Deimos, the 2 moons of Mars. Just random shit like that. Just here, kids. Let me talk to you about these 2 potato-shaped moons that Mars has. And I also had another video where I would talk about, basically it's an online exhibit that, like a timeline that you can, it's an interactive online space timeline, if that makes any sense. Like the history of people like sending rockets and satellites and stuff into space. And then there was one other one that I talked about. There was a space probe, I think it was the Helios space probe, that was going to be launched and study the sun. And it was just a news article about that, and I read it, and I kind of had a diagram, and I showed about where in relation between Mercury and the sun it's actually going to go. You know, super nerdy space stuff. Excuse me. But I really liked, I liked doing it. But again, just no one watched it. And which is surprising, and no one wants to hear about space. I know not everyone is interested in the same stuff I'm interested in. I get it. But I had that on the channel for up until about, I think it was January when I really started working on this channel. No, it was probably February. Yeah, I think it was February. I ended up hiding those videos on my channel, and this new game came out for my cell phone which had really no information about it online. There's no like wiki that you could look up any information on. And I thought, you know what? This is a chance for me to have my niche part of the market. You want to hear about space? I tell you what, in the comments in this video, after I'm done streaming, I will go ahead and post some direct links to those videos if you really want to watch them. But, yeah. Yeah, I'll do that after. I'll go ahead and link the videos in the comments after I'm done. But anyway, so this video game that's really obscure that I really like and I still play it, I started posting videos on there on my YouTube, basically kind of learning as I go along, trying to help new players out, and it started gaining some traction. I just started getting some viewers, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. People actually want to watch my videos. And then for a long time, it's been about 6-7 months, I've been watching other YouTube channels like Comment Awards. I would watch that. I would watch other like Reddit channels like Comment Awards, or I would watch r/fresh. There's another guy that I would watch. And I'm watching these videos and I'm looking at how many views these videos are getting. And I'm like, I could do this. This isn't hard stuff to do. What is the game? It's called Final Blade. I have another channel. It's another gaming channel that only has like 32 subscribers on it. But I've posted some videos on there. It's just kind of a thing I do every so often now. I haven't posted any videos in a while. Mainly because I started getting people being negative with me in game after I post the videos, and I'm like, you know what, I don't need this, so I don't post as often as I do. Sorry, I lost track. Oh, Comment Awards, watching Fresh, and I'm looking at these videos, I'm like, I could do this. This isn't anything out of the ordinary. Like, the program that I use to edit these videos is called Wondershare. It's a basic editing program. Like, it's super simple. Hopefully, if I finally get this channel monetized after 1,000 subscribers, I'll be able to get like Adobe Premiere. There's some other things about me making videos that I would like to change, and I'm not going to point out to what they are, because I know if I point them out to you, that's all you will hear or see. So there's some other things that some other quality things I could improve on these videos. So I'm looking at these channels grow, I'm like, this is easy stuff. I could do this. And back in the day when I was, I don't know, when I was 18, 17, I considered being a voice actor because I'm a nerd. I was really getting into anime at that point. I'm not such of a weeaboo now. Yeah, I still watch them occasionally, but man, it was really bad. Like, I spent so much money on anime DVDs. I probably got like 200 anime DVDs here at home. And this is back in the day when they were like $30 a pop. And okay, that's enough. I'm going off on too many tangents. I gotta stick to the story. So back in the day, I wanted to be a voice actor. Even when I worked at Wendy's, when I'd work on the drive-thru, occasionally people would come in through the drive-thru and say, "Hey, you got a really nice voice." I'm like, "Oh, gee, thanks." So it was something I wanted to do, and I thought, I know I need to work on voice and diction, basically being able to read things and enunciate and pronounce things correctly. Excuse me, man. You know what? I wonder my voice is struggling right now. I need to drink something. Sorry, give me a moment. There we go. I wanted to do stuff as far as voice acting goes. And I recently quit one of my pharmacy jobs, so I've been out of work for a little bit. And the problem is I've been in pharmacy so long that I don't know what else to do. But I know I don't want to go back into I don't want to go back into pharmacy, because it's going to be the same thing no matter where I go. So it kind of fell into place where I could make these videos and I could potentially make some money doing it, and also work on my voice and diction. It just seemed like it would be a win-win-win. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would never lie to you guys about anything or mislead you. I'm doing this because I like doing it, and I could potentially make money at it. I mean, anyone that says otherwise, that has a YouTube channel, no, they're lying to you. But that's the reason why I started making these videos, is because it was something that I knew I could do. I already had a microphone from when I did my Let's Plays and stuff like that. I already had this stuff set up. I had the channel. And I just started making videos. What's the most difficult part about YouTube is just getting noticed. Because, I mean, it amazes me how many videos are on YouTube. Like, how big are the hard drives at YouTube? You gotta think that they're, like, super massive. They have to be, like, huge. But getting noticed is the most difficult part. So, I started off a couple months ago, and I already had 300 subscribers at that point, but that was just because of Final Blade, that game. And so I knew I already had some people there, and so I started making these Reddit videos alongside with those Final Blade videos, just thinking that, you know, one of these two genres are going to get noticed. You know, either my gaming videos are going to start getting traction, or my Reddit videos are going to get traction. And then one day, one of my videos, my entitled parent videos, got like 20,000 views. I'm like, okay, well, let's get rid of the gaming stuff, which is a good call, because honestly, it's easier to connect with more people. Sharing stories and stuff is something that I like doing. I like telling stories, but it's, like I said before, it's hard for people to actually like want to sit down and listen to the stories. So that's kind of how I got to where I'm at right now, is that one video was linked on someone else's Reddit stories playlist, and that's how I got so many people to funnel into my site or to my channel. So it's weird about YouTube is that it will start slow. Like I would get like one subscriber every 2 days, and then one every day, and then like 3 a day, and then now I'm at about 10 to 15 a day, depending on honestly, it just depends on the content. Like if I put out a video, it seems like I get more views. I want to try to get to the 1 video a day mark, but like I said before, it takes me 2 hours to do each one of these, and I do have a job. I also work another job right now, so it's not always ideal or a perfect scenario for me to be able to do that once a day. If I get enough people to subscribe, I quit my job and do this full time. I would be more than happy to do that, and I'd be so excited to be able to put out 1, potentially 2 videos a day. Like, this would be the perfect job for me. For me, this would be my perfect job. Be able to just make videos and be able to connect with so many people. So that's how I got to here on YouTube. Started off as a gaming channel. Didn't work out. Discovered the Reddit story thing. I enjoyed them. I had some stories to tell. So I made this channel. Or made the switch anyway. So, what are some other basic questions that other people would probably ask? What do I like to do for fun? I like making videos. Okay, well, I play Magic the Gathering. I usually play on Magic Arena, which is a PC version of the card game. Video games are always a plus. I'm on Xbox as KyotoKombat as well. KyotoKombat is just a username I've used for years in games and stuff. Do I have a Discord for this channel? No. Um, let's see. Uh, if I become popular enough, I will. Wait, am I still live? It's weird. My connection hiccup there for a second. Oh, okay, that was weird. Yeah, for a second my my connection looked like it looked like I was losing connection. Sorry about that. Do I have a personal Discord? No. I've never thought to have a Discord. Honestly, hell, I mean, I'm basically live streaming right now for the first time for this, well, for the Reddit stuff. I've live streamed before with games, but for Reddit, I just barely doing the I'm just barely doing the live stream thing. So as far as Reddit, as far as the Discord, no, I haven't gone that far. Let's see. Stories are fun. I don't have to watch to know what's going on, so I can do other stuff. Yeah, that's I figured that a lot of people would have this kind of on in the background while they're doing something. I know if you get like YouTube Red, you can actually, like on your cell phone, you can actually push play on something and even have your phone. You don't have to actually have anything on your screen. You could just listen to the audio. I imagine that some people would do that as well. Let's see. What was I talking about? Oh, Discord. Yeah, so I don't have a Discord. I would look into it if enough people would be more interested. I would be happy to get one. I mean, I don't know the first thing about it. I've used Discord a lot, but I've never gone through the process of actually getting one for myself. Sorry, I was talking about things I like to do. Where did I leave off at? Playing Magic the Gathering. Oh, KyotoKombat. Yep, that's right. The name KyotoKombat, I've been using that gamer tag name for years. The first time I used it was when I played Final Fantasy 11, or no, Final Fantasy 12. Is whichever the online one was, the MMO. I think that was Final Fantasy 11. But anyway, whatever. Kyoto's a city in Japan. It used to be the feudal capital. It used to be the capital of Japan before Tokyo, back in the shogunate feudal times. And combat, because when the what was called the Meiji Revolution happened in Japan, it was the bloodiest revolution in history, but no one knows anything about it. It was basically when the shogunate was fighting against people that wanted to westernize Japan, go from samurai and stuff like that to samurai to you know, Western ideals, like having a president instead of, or a prime minister instead of having a shogun. So bloodiest revolution in history in the capital city, Kyoto. Combat, K, it just sounded better with the K, I guess. So that's how that name came about. It doesn't really mean anything now other than it's just what I go by. But anyway, I play video games on Xbox. I'm on as KyotoKombat. Pretty much anything else I use, that's just my username. Oh, Eldad. This is kind of weird, but I have another channel for Reddit too called Ahmed the Redditor. So can you shout me out? Well, as far as I've actually had some people do that, wanted me to do shoutouts before in like gaming videos when I was making those Final Blade videos. I don't mind mentioning other people's stuff. Like I as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any competition. I don't believe competition in this kind of a thing does any good for you. It's just you put out the best product that you have, and if people like it, they'll watch it and they'll subscribe. Like, I'm not actively like hating on other channels or anything like that. So when people ask me to shout out and I don't, it's not because I don't want to see you succeed or anything like that, or I don't care. It's just that if I shout out someone, then the next person's going to want me to shout out, and then the next person's going to want me to shout out, and I know that there's going to be a time when I'm going to have to say, no, I don't do that. So I prefer to people know that I'm not just going to, like, I can mention your video. I mean, I just mentioned your channel right now, but like in an actual video I make, I'm not going to do that. But it's nice to see another person that's trying to do this Reddit stuff. It's good to see that other people are trying to do it too. I mean, it just helps everyone grow if more people do it. Stuff I like to do. I do like going camping. Like to go take vacations. I like to shop. I like to go out to eat because trying new tasty foods is always awesome. What else would some people like to know about me? I can't think of any. I've already gone 2.5 hours on this thing just trying to talk non-stop. Well, not trying to talk, but I have been talking non-stop. So I think I'm done. Unless anyone else has any questions and comments. I'm just going to hang out here for a couple more minutes and then call it a day. Favorite superpower? Well, I mean, if I had to just, well, there's two answers to that. If I could just emulate a superhero, it would be Superman because he can do anything, right? No, it would be Golden Age Superman. It would be the guy that could be like, I'm gonna breathe in and blow away a galaxy. You know, just do ridiculous stuff because he's super overpowered. It would be Golden Age Superman, definitely. But favorite superpower, if I could just choose one. Teleportation would be very convenient, wouldn't it? I think the easy answer is just flight, right? Because that would be just super convenient. Although the higher you get, the colder it's going to be and the windier it's going to be. It could be just miserable flying, right? Like, I wouldn't want to fly to Canada, like, in winter. That would be like, nope. Well, I'm no longer flying. I'm not a superhero this season. I'm only a superhero in July. Flight would probably be higher up there. Teleportation would be nice, just because I could be like, oh, I'm somewhere else. That would be awfully convenient. But I couldn't fly by doing that. I can't be like, well, no, I guess I can. Teleportation. That's the superpower, because I could constantly teleport higher up in the air, and it'd be kind of like I'm flying, but I'm actually just teleporting. I'm gonna go with teleportation. It'd be awfully convenient though. Like, can you imagine? Like, you could go into business with yourself, like being like, I need this this heart transplant. I need this heart for this transplant taken to Chicago, and I need it as soon as possible. It's like, give me $100, I'll do it. Boom, I'm there. Give me $100. Like, it'd be like you could make so much money just by being an instant transportation. Be like, oh wait, oh you want to go Disneyland today? Oh, just hold my hand. Boop, we're there. All right, gone. Hey, how'd you get into this park? Don't worry about it, guy. Yeah, teleportation, definitely the way to go. How else would I be able to abuse teleportation? Use it for evil. Nah, I think just making a lot of money by doing it and just being able to travel wherever you want to go. That'd be cool. As far as fighting crime and stuff, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. I suppose if there's like a bank robbery, I could just teleport in, grab the guy, like touch the guy on the shoulder, and then just teleport into a jail cell, and then just teleport out really quickly. That would be awfully convenient, wouldn't it be? Like, I don't need to like have like invincibility or anything like that. Like, if someone like, I guess if someone could point a gun at me, they could, and I didn't see it, I could die, you know. So invincibility would be a thing, but nah, teleportation, that's where it's at. Just man, you could definitely mess with people too, like teleport into your house, like just turn all the chairs backwards and teleport out really quick. Just teleport to someone's house and be like, ooh, I'm a spooky ghost, and then boop, teleport back out. Someone walks in and is like, what is that? Teleport behind him, tap him on the shoulder, teleport back out. I'm getting awfully spooked here. Yeah. Invisibility? You don't need invisibility. You know, like invisibility, you don't need it. Flight? Nah. Again, the whole weather, like flying in the middle of a rainstorm. It's like, oh, I got a superhero today, but it's like, it's raining. I'm gonna get hit by lightning. No way. I'm not going out today. Teleportation, I could just go from house to house. I don't actually have to get wet or anything. That'd be cool. Like having like shooting beams out of my hand. Like that's only to like deal damage. That's only to like hurt something, you know? So I can't like use that in social situations. It can't be like, hey, check this out. Boom. Hey, that's cool, but you just blew up my living room. You gotta pay for that. Oh, crap. What's another one? Like telekinesis, being able to move things with your mind? I don't know. I could move things by touching it. I'd be like, oh man, I gotta move this piano up that flight of stairs. Well, let me go ahead and touch it. And boop. I'm up a flight of my stairs with my piano. Don't need to do any telekinesis or anything like that. Just touch it and go. Mind control. Now, mind control would probably be another one. But then I'd just be controlling stupid people. Okay, that was dumb. Not controlling stupid people. I'd just be, like, telling people what to do and stuff, which is... I mean, that would get boring after a while. You can't really mess with someone by controlling what they do. I think it'd be much funner just to kind of freak people out. So... I could probably go on a little bit more about superhero powers, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. The cartoon... Wait, Eldod said the cartoon superpower that you can grab anything from behind your back. Oh! It's kind of like Felix the Cat back in the day, where he had a magic bag where he'd reach in and pull out anything, you know? Or there was a cartoon back in the day, I think it was only on for one season. It was a stupid show, but I watched it because it was a cartoon on Saturday morning, and I'm like, well, this is what the network wants me to watch, so I'm watching it. And it was about a kid that had a magic baseball glove, and he could make any wish he wanted once a day, and it would never be like, nah, just give me some money. Like, it would never be like that. I think one of the perfect wishes that you could have wouldn't be to wish for like all the money in the world, because then it's like, oh, the world's bankrupt, money's worthless. What you do is, well, first, if you get 3 wishes, you wish for the ability to wish for more wishes, and then wish for more wishes. That's the perfect, like, that's perfect, right? Excuse me. But this kid, he would always wish for like, oh, Billy's in trouble. Well, not to save Billy or anything like that. It's like, oh, Billy's about to get beat up by a bully. It's not to like, hey, let's get Billy out of here. I wish that the bully would be nicer. Nothing like that. It's always like, oh man, I wish for for a bicycle so I can get to Billy quickly or something. It was just stupid. Anyway, but yeah, the whole superpower that you can grab from anything from behind your back. Like Batman's utility belt. I mean, that's really, like, honestly, that's really why they have Batman with the utility belt, is because comic book writers back in the day were like, well, we need Batman to get into a situation. How does he get it out? With this shark repellent spray that he has in his utility belt. Of course, genius! Or oh no, he's tied up. The Penguin's got him tied up. How does he get out of it? Oh, he has a blowtorch in his utility belt that he can just reach, of course. So, the perfect money, like all the money in the world wish, wouldn't be to wish for all the money in the world. It would be for Batman's utility belt. Like, it's like, hey, Batman, the price of this car is $30,000. Oh, let me grab it from my utility belt. You know, because it just magically appears. There's no, like, just to be able to reach in to a bag or reach into Batman's utility belt and pull out anything you need in that situation. That would be a really good wish. Never to Leave said telekinesis to use flight to get popped from the fridge without getting up, or from the fridge from the store. Just pop into the store, grab a 12-pack of soda, and boop, back at home. Yes, I am not above stealing with the superpower. What are they gonna do? They're gonna catch me? Oh man, you caught me, cops. Might as well put me in handcuffs. Here's my arms. Boop. I'm in a different state. I wouldn't like commit murder or anything like that. And I would probably do like minor crimes, like I could really use a Hershey bar right now. It's like boop. Touch a Hershey, teleport over to a gas station, touch a Hershey bar, boop, back at home. You know, I always get the same store. I'd be like, oh hey Jim, hey, are you gonna pay for that today? Nope, boop, back at home. I mean, I probably wouldn't want to be a dick about it, though. Because eventually someone's going to be like, you know, he has a tendency to come in and steal from us, so we're going to set up a trap for him. When he pops in, we're just going to shoot him. Well, I would probably do, like, the minor petty theft stuff, like, I want a soda or something. Could never use it. Wait, I could never use the telekinesis to jaywalk? No, I mean, I suppose I. Why would I even use my legs? My body would be. I would turn into one of those bean people from WALL-E. You know, those people that just sit on the couch all day and just look like a big jelly bean. Because my legs at this point have no more use. Just teleport. It'd be convenient though. I would probably miss like walking at some point. I'd be like, you know what I miss? Having my feet in the sand. That feels good. Oh, don't steal from stores, steal from warehouses? That's a good point. Yeah. Well, first, in this hypothetical situation, I need to actually have superpowers, so don't worry, I'm not at the point where I'm stealing from stores yet. First I gotta get those superpowers. So how do I get my superpowers for teleportation? Do I have some acid, like, or some radioactive fluid, like, spill on me? It has to have something to do with radiation, right? Do I have a wizard grant it to me? It'd be kind of weird, though, if the only way I could teleport is if I said something like, fart nozzle, or something like that. You know, something that's really, really strange. You know, it'd be like going into a crowd and be like, fart nozzle, boom, gone. Although that might be funny. I think just being able to think and teleport at will would be ideal. Well, I'm not actively going to be committing crimes. I mean, what I'd probably do I probably wouldn't steal, though. I'd probably go back to my original idea and be like, oh, you need this kidney back in Florida? You need it now? Give me $100. You know? Or even as far as, like, just, I could totally, like, run the post office out of business. Like, you mailing that letter? What are you paying for that letter? 30 cents? For that stamp? Give me a quarter, I'll mail it for you. That would be me, though. That would be me starting low. And then it would probably take someone to be like, you know, you could just, like, move all these shipping crates for us and, like, save us thousands of dollars. We'll pay you thousands of dollars. I'd be like, oh, crap. I could totally do that. And I'm sitting here at the post office making 25 cents. Hey, Bridget, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I should probably do these occasionally. Come up with some stories, and then maybe if I get more viewers, it would kind of keep me on topic and stuff. But thanks for coming in, Bridget. Typing. Well, now it seems like every 20 minutes now I comment like, oh man, it's been going on for that much longer. So again, any other questions, or where am I gonna go? Yeah, I'll hang out for a couple more minutes. If you guys have any more questions, otherwise, I'm gonna say toodaloo myself. Toodaloo. I never say toodaloo. Why do I say toodaloo? Typing. Let's see. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for me. I wouldn't, man. I've been nervous all day about this whole live stream thing, thinking that like I'm not gonna have anything to say. I'm gonna ramble on, which I did. But I thought it would be a lot worse than it ended up being. So I don't know if it's good, but it wasn't terrible. But thanks guys for joining and sitting listening to me ramble on about random things. It's nice to have nice people urge you on. Eldad, I feel like you're a friend even though you only recognize a couple of my comments. I think I replied back to you earlier about the double-edged sword about getting more popular. You get more popular, you get bigger, you get more fans, but that means that you lose a connection with a lot of the people. And I only have, what, 730 something like that subscribers. So I mean, that's way down the road. So I'll worry about that when I get there. I just hope that I'm trying to do the best I can to remember why I'm growing. I'm growing because people watch my channel. It's not because I'm not making that number go up. People are making that number go up. And the day that I stop like replying back to people or stop recognizing that the channel is only as big as the people, that's the day that, well, I don't want to come out. I don't want to ever see that day. But it's easy for me to say this now. But let's just say if I was, I mean, let's just say like if I got 100,000 subscribers, like I would, or something like that. I'm not even at 1,000 right now, so picturing 100,000 is just mind blowing to me. But let's just say I have 100,000 subscribers, and I get 300 comments on each video. There's not going to be a way for me to be able to reply back to everyone. But I don't want to get to the point where I don't reply back to anyone. I know I'm not going to be able to reply back to everyone if I get bigger, but I don't want to just not reply to people. So it's nice now to be able, it's really good now in a way to be a lower subscriber count, because I can actually reply back to everyone. I can actually read every comment. I can actually make closer connections with people. If I get up to that 100,000 subscriber, or even 50,000, or however many subscriber count, that's just going to go away. There's no way I'd be able to connect with everyone, but I would always want to have a way to show my appreciation for people. I don't think that's going to go away. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess in short what I'm trying to say is I don't want to make it ever feel, I don't want you guys to ever feel like that you're not wanted. You know, that I don't appreciate you, because that couldn't be further from the truth. So yeah, as far as replying back to people, I try to do that as much as I can. I know that there's going to be a day that I'm not going to be able to do that for everyone, but it's still, that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate people watching my videos or commenting on my videos. It's never going to mean that. But anyway, Eldad, thank you for coming in and watching. I mean, I've said it before. If anyone can tolerate my, what am I trying to say? I appreciate anyone that wants to spend the time and listen to me ramble or talk or read Reddit stuff. So to let alone even just follow me or just keep on watching and stuff, that is just, it means a lot. So thank you. Anyway, I keep on saying I'm going to be leaving, but I think this time I am actually going to be leaving. So, thanks for joining me. If you are watching this on playback, why did you listen to 3 hours of me talking? No, seriously. No, if you are watching on playback and you did get to this message, by all means, you deserve a gold medal. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the videos. So, until next time, later, kids.